I'm here with one of the most unique personalities in the world of chess, Yochanan Afek. Hello, Yochanan. Great to see you, finally meet you in person.
Nice to see you too, of course. Finally meeting the also very famous ChessBase India website.
Yochanan, there's so much to talk to you about, so many things to discuss. But first, I think we should begin with one of the compositions that has touched your heart, which brought you into chess composing. And which one was that?
Yes, I will just say a few words about it, because when I was 14, I first entered the Municipal Chess Club in Tel Aviv, in the center of Tel Aviv. The first tutor there was the first Israeli grandmaster, who is now the third oldest grandmaster in the world, Yair Kreidman. He was our first teacher there for 1 or 2 years, and after that came a great chess personality, world famous Moshe Cherniak. He was actually my chess mentor. And why do I mention him? Because he was crazy about chess composition, especially miniature studies and problems, which he put every week in his Haaretz column for 30 years. And he actually, in the club, in the Central Chess Club in Tel Aviv, he made us, a few of us, the future Israeli composers, because I was not the only one. There was Amatzia Avni there,
yes.
there was Gadi Costa for time to time there, and so that was, he, more than he taught us chess openings, he taught us chess beauty.
And it's amazing, right, how much one man can influence things.
A lot. Him and the father of the Israeli chess composition, Hillel Aloni, the late, both of them are not with us anymore. He was actually the mentor of all upcoming young composers, Hillel Aloni. Him and his twin brothers were my mentors, him in endgame studies, and his brother Yoel Aloni, twin brother, he was my mentor in chess problems.
Wow.
Because in the beginning I was composing from the age of 14, 15, I was composing endgame studies and chess problems, mate problems, helpmate, self-mate. Only late after I concentrated on endgame studies, when there was no time for everything, and it was my strongest genre. So. And that's how we developed. He was very I'm talking about pre-computer. We did everything without computers, and till I was 50, I did not know what is a computer actually.
But computers must have made a deep impact, yes, in the last few years on composing as well.
It's absolutely, not only every facet of chess, of course, and it helps a lot. Chess composers saves a lot of time when the engine see what you cannot see as a human being, and it cooked many past masterpieces, and it helps a lot in the process of composing. Mm-hmm. There are now contemporary composers who only composed with. They're young enough to compose only with computers, and that really is a great assistance in the process of composing, of course.
You are not one of those who say, oh, the art is dying out, now the computers are taking away the sort of the human touch that exists.
No, I am aware of it.
You feel it that way?
Yes, but at the same time, I appreciate the positive effect on my composing, and also there is a big database of about almost 100,000 endgame studies, which helps you to find anticipations, like most of the ideas has already been done, and that helps you to. There is a guy in the Netherlands, that's much later.
Harold van Heiden. Yes.
Harold van der Heijden, who is updating his database on a daily basis. Although he is a very busy man with other things, he's doing it like every 5 years, new edition with the new studies that were published and they are added. Is about 95,000 at the moment of endgame studies, which is at least 80% of all what has ever been published.
Wow.
So everything of all the great composers and the small composers from every magazine, the originals and the results of tournament, composing tournament, great job. And that helps a lot. That's part of the computer systems in the art of chess composition.
So you got inspired into the world of composing when you were young, and then you saw this very nice study.
Not only one study, my favorite composer, my lifetime favorite composer is Mark Liburkin.
Mark Liburkin,
Mark
yes.
Liburkin was a Russian composer. Actually, he was born in Belarus, but it was the same. But he spent most of his very short life. He was born in 1910, just like Cherniak, 1910. He was also a Jewish guy, and he was in 1953 he died. He was only 43, but you know, in Soviet Union life was not very, very healthy, and people, the life, how do you call it, lifetime expectancy was pretty short in those days, and was also after the war and stuff. Yes. So I fell in love with Liburkin masterpieces.
What did you like about it, about his composing?
He had the classical style. He actually composed romantic studies, which are the beauty, the very clear themes and very economical, like real art, of not too complicated, combined ideas, just what you have to show newcomers in chess composition. And last year, my book of the anthology of miniatures, I like miniatures quite a lot, and the Informant found it important enough to make an anthology, the Chess Informant, of 2,000 endgame studies with up to only 7 pieces on the board. Yes, and one of them is they asked me what shall we put on the cover, and this is my Liburkin favorite. Yes,
what you put your favorite one.
This is my they put my favorite one.
Wow.
They wanted only one study, so I took this one. And I once talked to Yuri Averbach, and Yuri Averbach knew Liburkin because Liburkin was the accountant of the Central Chess Club in Moscow, in Gogolevsky Boulevard, you know, the famous club. And Averbach was there in charge of the museum also. He knew him. He knew him. Yeah, that was for me also to know Averbach was a great experience, of course. So if I have to show one classic, I show this one.
So here in this position, it's like black should draw the game if the knight and the bishop are come out of this mess, right? Then the material is almost equal.
Yeah, the material is white has minimal advantage, which usually is not enough for winning, but in a magic way he manages here to win.
So the right answer is rook a2.
Rook a2 is the first move, which is quite obvious because
the bishop is trapped, almost.
You want to win one of the black pieces, and you win one of the black pieces.
I was wondering if knight f1.
Yeah, that's the only move. No, but knight f1 is not. Actually, is not the only move. Knight f1, king e1 wins
e1, finish
a piece.
Right.
So the best defense for black Because what is important in a good endgame study is that there is a fight there. Not only white is playing and black makes only moves and forced moves and loses. It's both sides make their best to give it a fight.
So bishop g1, rook g2. That is also without a fight. It starts
That's
now.
how it starts.
Oh, king f3, rook
That's the
g1,
main
king
line.
f2.
Yes.
Ooh.
Exactly, yes. So rook a2, bishop g1, rook g2, and then
King f3, right?
yeah, because it's not clear. It's on e4.
Yes. King f3, rook g1,
Yes, and then king f2.
king f2, rook e1, only move.
Yes. And now white has a rook up, yes? But black is playing knight f1. And is threatening perpetual check. Knight e3, knight f1.
Or maybe, but there's rook e5, right? So maybe you start with e4, no?
You are right.
e4.
E4, yes.
And also now the threat is e3, e2.
And knight f
And knight f1.
And win the rook.
Yes.
So watch the main point is coming now.
Yes,
Where
now what to
put
play?
The knight? Where does the knight belong? The obvious thing,
Knight e6 is obvious, no?
knight e6, and the obvious thing is to put the knight on d4 or
F4.
to stop e2.
Yes.
But that's the fantastic point of this study. If you do that, he plays
e3,
e3,
knight f4,
knight f4 or knight d4,
yeah.
e2 check,
e2, okay, knight e2,
knight takes e2, knight f1,
okay.
draw
Draw, yes.
with the whole rook up because you cannot. It's a perpetual check.
Wow.
Knight e3,
Whoa.
knight f1.
So
knight
beautiful.
E3, you cannot stop it. But still white wins. He doesn't play neither knight d4 nor knight f4, which are actually tries, beautiful tries. The only move when the knight is on e6, and it's better to let the spectator find it, but
Yes,
okay.
they can pause it. They can pause the video here and think.
Yes.
And now you can tell us. The move is?
Those who don't know this, because it's very famous also.
Yes.
The only move is knight c5.
Knight c5.
Yes, it's 2 exclamation mark. It's a big surprise.
Wow.
So he plays this, where the pawn is?
E4, knight e6, e3.
E3, and so he plays
Knight c5.
knight c5,
E2.
king d2,
Yeah.
knight f1 check, king c1,
King c1.
king takes e1,
Yeah.
knight d3 mate.
Whoa!
And this is a beautiful mate from several reasons. First of all, it's made after 2 black self blocks, yeah?
Yes.
And it's called ideal mate. What is an ideal mate? There is model mate that every square around the mated king is protected or attacked only once, which is the principle of economy in art, yes? But ideal mate is that also all pieces on the board are taking part in the mating picture.
So here a white king takes away a few squares, black piece takes away one of the squares,
By
and so
itself
wow.
blocks. So it's a very neat mate, knight d3, ideal mate, and after 2 active self blocks. Black is actively coming to the square to block them.
This is so beautiful.
So beautiful. And all with 7 pieces, you have very nice introduction. Like you don't start with the main thing, you build it up to the climax, yes?
And also what I loved that you mentioned is there has to be a fight. It shouldn't be a one-way thing.
Exactly. It's chess. It's a double-edged fight. And more the better. But this is kind of also ideal number of moves. Like it's not too long, and all pieces are taking part in the big drama. Short and very tense drama here.
And also it's very close to sort of over the board chess that you have, like a practical chess game.
Very natural position.
And I think somehow even your composing style is very close to sort of
The game.
play
Because I'm a player. But not all composers are composing in such natural. It is a kind of trend to do it. It's advised to do it, but sometimes there are fantastic ideas that would never happen in a game. So it's less resembled the
Yes.
position, natural position, like with under promotions, for example.
True.
How many bishops were under promoted in the history of tournament chess? 1, 2, 3, but there are many ideas. The role of chess composition, not only the studies, is to expose the treasures of chess that are not expressed by the normal, very limited game. You know, the game is only deals with a very limited number of possibilities, material considerations, but composition show all the treasures. It has developed in another direction. Many chess players don't like chess problems, but many of them they like strange compositions like helpmate and selfmate, and many strong chess players are fantastic solvers in solving world championship. Players like John Nunn, like Kasper Piron from Poland, like Piotr Murzia from Poland, great solvers also. Yes. And many chess players have the potential to become, it's too much to prepare openings and to also devote yourself to solving. But, for example, in my country now, the Netherlands, was a grandmaster, a very good solver, Twan Burg, if you know the name, for example, yes. And
I also know that these youngsters like Jordan Van Forest and all, they are interested in composing.
Jordan, when he was young, he showed me and gave me some compositions that he made, but over the years, I don't think he is active with it. But he is, of course, could develop. The most famous case in the Netherlands is my friend Jan Timman, who has become a real leading study composer.
It's like, you know, when you see Jan Timman's studies, they also resemble a lot of practical play.
Sure.
And you were born in Israel, you were raised in Israel, but now you live in Amsterdam.
Yes, I was born in Israel, but not to Israeli-born parents. My parents were Holocaust survivors, both of them, from different countries in East Europe.
Wow, which ones?
My father was Romanian, but he was Transylvanian, so he spoke also fluent Hungarian. Impossible language for me. And my mother was Polish.
That's how you know one line in Polish.
That I don't speak Polish. And why don't I speak those languages? They spoke many languages, my parents, but they could not understand each other, so they had to study Hebrew as a common language, which was spoken at home. This is my mother tongue, Hebrew.
Wow. So in order to sort of communicate with each other, they found Hebrew as the...
I can tell you in 2 sentences that after the war, there was very short of it, there was a big movement in East Europe called Escape, to run away of those countries in order to avoid the Iron Curtain falling by the Soviets. So they made it, and they met in Antwerp from different villages in different countries that would never met. I always say that I exist thanks to Stalin and Hitler or whatever. Otherwise, you would not speak to me here. And then they were illegal immigrants to Israel, and the British threw them to camp in Cyprus for 2 years. There were camps of the British there.
Really?
It's not like the German camps. It was much better, of course, but they were 2 years in the camp, and they married in Cyprus, and they studied Hebrew in Cyprus.
Wow.
So in all their life in Israel, they actually spoke Hebrew at home, and they were reading Hebrew newspapers and stuff. And with their families, they used the original languages.
Wow. Were you the only child, or you have siblings?
No, I have still. I have my sister. She's 1 year and a half younger, and she lives in Tel Aviv. I was born in the old central station of Tel Aviv, and I lived there nearly 50 years.
Wow.
When I was 48, I moved to Paris. I lived there 1 year, and played a lot of chess. And after 1 year, I moved to Amsterdam, and I've been living in Amsterdam for the last 24 years.
Was it for chess that you moved, or?
Yes, it was. Okay, I was always the idea of not living only in one place all my life, but all my best years I gave to Israel.
Yes.
Also, I was a serviceman and a reserve serviceman, and 2 wars and many more wars. But as a serviceman, 2 wars and for chess, I did many things. But at the age of almost 50, I decided to become a professional chess player, which you don't see.
Which is not common.
It's very uncommon.
I mean, who does this? Like at 50, generally you stop playing chess.
It's not only that. When I was 50, I made my only Grandmaster norm.
Really?
Playing.
At the age of 50?
50, yes, exactly 50. Because in 2002, I won the Paris Championship, and I made how do we call it, performance of 26-70.
Wow.
I played 6 Grandmasters in a row, and I made 7.5 out of 9 without. I won the Paris Championship, and that's my souvenir, my only Grandmaster. I made my international master title when I was 39 or 40, because I was busy with other things in chess until that age. I was professional in chess all my life. The only non-professional job I did all my life was that in one newspaper where I had the chess column, because I'm a chess journalist as well, I also did the crossword. The Hebrew crossword every week. So that's the only non-chess job. But when I was about 50, I went to Europe, and I was a player in teams in several countries, also in the leagues, or in the Bundesliga, in the top 12 in France, in Belgium, in 3 different clubs over the years, and of course in the Netherlands.
But when you were growing up, was chess composing taking more of your time, or playing chess?
I was giving the same amount of time to chess and chess composition since I was 15 till the Corona time. Because now I'm not playing much. I'm only playing for a team.
So half of your time to playing chess, half of your time to composing. Almost.
Say half of my chess time, because I also like other things, but like music and things. So my chess time was divided between playing and composing, also solving, and but I'm also other things in chess, like
You're a trainer, you're an organizer.
I was in Israel making my living as organizer, and I was 6 years I inherited Cherniak. I was the next director of the Central Club in Tel Aviv for 6 years. Yes, full-time job every day. I went, made many tournaments, and I founded. You will tell me when I'm talking too much about myself. So, but I founded.
But this interview is about you. This is exactly what you have to do.
Okay. So, but you will edit it, yes?
Yes. No, I would keep this. This is exactly what I wanted to know more about you, and I think the amount of contribution you have made to chess is immense.
I also contributed to my own pleasure, of course.
For sure.
Yes, it should go together.
Yes.
But since I was 15, I was a chess tutor, a chess trainer. I worked in dozens of schools in Tel Aviv, but also with gifted kids. And I was 10 years also the leader of the junior squad in Israel, chess junior squad. Among the youth that was in my squad between the years 89 87 and 97, where people like Emil Sutovsky, like Boris Avruch, Ali Gershon, Ronen Hartzvi, Dan Zoller, all these who are grandmasters. Postny was Yevgeny Postny, and we went to tournaments every year, and I accompanied them to world championships in South America, in the Baltics, everywhere, and that I did for 10 years, yes.
So, somehow, all the names that you took right now, and also if we add Boris Gelfand.
Many more also.
Yes, many more. They are not just players, but somehow they are contributing to the chess literature. What is it about the Israel players that they like to do more than just playing? You know, I've read a lot of annotations of, let's say, Postny, books by Gelfand. You can see Emil Sutovsky now in FIDE, but also writing these posts, having great sort of historical knowledge of chess. Is there something?
I wouldn't say the Israeli. I think it's a Jewish thing. It's all over the world. You see people like Malcolm Payne, and they're everywhere in every country. Not only Jewish, but it's a kind of Jewish tendency to. There are only 15 million Jews in the world, but they make a noise like there were 100 million. And they are influential in all facets of life, I think. And even half of the world champions were, yes.
True. And so, for you personally, the training, the organizing, the composing, the playing, which role did you enjoy the most?
Probably I enjoy them all. Probably, but the most you enjoy what you are the strongest in. And chess composition is my strongest part, but this is you cannot do chess composition all day. You have to make living also. You have to do other. You might get crazy if you do it all day. Yes. So
chess people cannot make a living out of chess composition yet, right? No. Is it ever possible to kind of make an ecosystem? Because I know people who love chess composing, who want to dedicate their life to it.
I don't know. I don't know many who. All chess composers that I know have normal jobs.
Yes, exactly. But that's because you can't make a living out of this.
I did a little living of it, but not enough.
Through books or?
Books is one thing, but books is not a big deal in making living in chess, you know. But what for some years, big tournaments asked me to compose special study dedicated to the players of this event. Like 4 or 5 years it was in London Classic.
Yes.
Like 10 years I did composition in more than 10 years in Weichensee. I worked in the press room and I was the daily problem every day, and it came from there.
I remember there was this one pawn endgame which you had made for Weichensee, it was, right? That's some amazing pawn endgame, and I had done the full analysis of it as a player back then. I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah. So I did it also for smaller tournaments in the Netherlands, like Dieren, the Dutch Open, like Hoogeveen, like Hoogeveen, you know, and also until a few years ago, I was asked to compose a special study for a friend for his birthday.
Really?
By people. Yes, and they paid for it.
Wow.
And so that is, I know only another case of professional chess composer, but much more tragic. There was a composer, a grandmaster of chess composition called Ernst Bogosian. Ernst Bogosian in the Soviet Union, he was a kind of dissident, so he was punished by the authorities. That he lost his job. He was a kind of engineer or something, and Yuri Averbach told me that this is maybe a scoop, but he's not alive anymore. Yuri Averbach, he was the oldest grandmaster.
Yes.
He passed away. He told me, because he was editor of both Shachmatny VSSR and Shachmatny Bulletin. The back side of Shachmatny Bulletin, there were positions of small studies. When I was young, I was buying it very cheap in Tel Aviv, in a special shop. I was buying these magazines. and because there was no computer, there was nothing. And these were small studies by Pogosians. He could pay him something that he can make living. Not much, but kopeikis, yes, not much. He paid him. He told me that, because I never met Pogosians, of course. He died young, so we were maybe the only professional composer, but of course you cannot make real living out of it. It was nice to be paid sometimes, yes.
So you are an IM at chess, but you became a GM at chess composing.
Yes, this is a lifetime project. In endgame studies, living composers, there are 11, I think, in the world with this title. These are
you mean total grandmasters in composing or
in studies?
In studies,
because the same title exists also for two movers, for three movers, for other compositions.
So in studies there are only 11 grandmasters living.
Yes.
Wow. That's so few.
The last ones are famous Martin Minsky from Germany and Stefan Nielsen from Denmark. Yes, but before there were much less.
But when I saw their studies, I find them very tough.
Very tough,
Stefan Nielsen and Martin Minsky. Maybe because they don't play chess so much.
They are not masters in over-the-board chess. They but they have normal jobs.
Yes. No, positions are very beautiful, but very tough to solve.
Very tough to solve. But I can tell you the toughness of a solution is only one criterion of 5 or 6 criterion to evaluate the value of an endgame study.
Right.
Of chess composition in general. The toughness is not all. It's about originality, it's about the combinations of themes, the fluency of the solution, and there are several. As a judge, I'm also international judge of chess composition and over-the-board chess. Yes. Arbiter, it's called in over-the-board. Yes. And I'm a FIDE master in solving because when in 1977, there was the first world championship for problem solving. And with my friend from Israel, Uri Avner, he was also a grandmaster of chess composition. We were the only Israelis who has ever, but he passed away 10 years ago. We were Israeli team to the World Championship, and we won the silver medal after the finish from Finland, Pauli Perkonoja and the fantastic solvers. And the year after, we took also bronze in England, in Canterbury. But around that time, I finished my solving career. You cannot do everything, simply. And Israel has very good solvers. So.
I mean, if you continued solving, perhaps you could have even become a grandmaster there.
Yeah, but
it could be.
It could be, but it's even if this miracle would happen, I would not have been impressed. What I like is to create, not to solve what other created, especially. I like to make new things.
So talking about your creation, which is your most favorite creation by yourself, and how did that come about?
It's difficult to say because I think there is a play called "They Were All My Sons." It's not that I prefer one composition over the other, but I had more successful compositions which won first prizes, like the examples that I chose for our meeting today. Yes. And they won first prizes. And there is one composition which was published everywhere, which I already made my first international achievement, is probably my most famous endgame study. It's like I never did anything better after, but of course it's not.
It was your first one?
The first achievement.
First achievement. But when was it that you composed it? How old were you when you?
I was a serviceman, 20 years old.
Only 20?
Only 20.
Wow.
It was in 1972. Maybe I even composed it a year before, but when it won because it takes time. It's published and then judged. It takes a year, and no computers and stuff. So, 19 or 20 I was when I composed it.
It's
Probably in the field somewhere as a soldier.
Do you use a chessboard while composing or in your head?
No, I need a chessboard. I am far from being exceptional in other facets of life.
It's not like you are asleep and then you wake up and you're like, oh, I got this idea.
I'm glad I'm not, because the last thing I want to be like those crazy chess players that can see everything by looking at the floor, at the ceiling. Yeah? When they are playing, they look there and they find the moves at the ceiling.
But this one which you composed had this very nice sort of rook takes b5 and...
It's nice because it starts with rook takes b5 and finished with bishop b5. On the same square you twice sacrifice, but you have to show the real beautiful studies you show. You don't talk about them, and the solution speaks for itself.
No, let's have a look at it. Can we go through it?
Yeah, we can. I think the laptop fell asleep, so I switch it on.
Sure.
Because he heard those stories so many times. And he has it all inside.
That was a nice one.
Here it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you have the diagram?
Yeah, I'll just...
Maybe you can also follow it. It's not difficult to understand. So I can... shall I describe it? Or?
Yes. If you can tell me the pieces, I will set it up and then...
Okay. So it's king b2, white, king b2.
Just a second. Yeah, king b2.
Rook b6.
Yes.
Bishop f1.
Yes.
Knight c4.
Just a second.
Pawns.
Bishop f1.
Yes.
Knight c4.
And pawns a3 and g4.
Okay.
Black has king on c5.
Yeah.
Rook on f8.
Yeah.
Bishop on f3.
Mm-hmm.
And pawns a5, b5, g5.
Okay.
Like 6 plus 6.
So, white to play. And it starts with rook takes b5.
Yeah, I just want to say that while a miniature is up to 7 pieces, there is another limit for all problems, not only studies, which is called Meredith, up to dozen of pieces, 12 pieces.
So this is a Meredith.
This is a Meredith, but it's not so important in studies.
Right.
Yes. So...
so you take the pawn?
Yeah, but first there is a try.
There is a try. I thought the knight is hanging, and if you move the knight, the rook hangs, so maybe it's forced, yes?
No, because there is a more natural move, more obvious move, knight e5, that you keep all pieces.
Oh, knight e5, and if king takes b6, knight d7.
d7, and it continues like this. But it doesn't work, because knight e5, king takes b6, knight d7 check, king c6, knight takes f8, bishop takes g4,
okay,
threatening bishop d1 and b4 and changing the last pawn, yes?
Okay.
But only defense for white against this maneuver is bishop d3.
Yes.
And then
it also stops bishop f5, because otherwise the knight gets trapped on f8.
Also.
Yes.
Also, for white plays bishop d3.
Yes.
And then, so it's not important that it's okay. Bishop d3.
Bishop d1.
Bishop d1. Bishop c2.
b4.
Bishop takes.
Oh, bishop c2. Yes. Takes.
Takes. King takes c2 and g4. It's a draw.
Okay.
So knight e5 doesn't work. So only move is to a surprising key. The first move is called key in chess composition. Rook takes b5, you sacrifice the rook and create, it's called a battery. The bishop on f1 and the knight on c4 is a battery. And now you play knight e5 check.
Okay.
If he goes to b6 or c5, you have this fork with the rook.
Without the pawn on
Without
b5.
the pawn on b5.
Yes.
That enabled that defense in the try.
Right.
So after knight e5, black has another tactical defense. He goes to a4.
Okay.
It's the only way not to lose the rook, yes?
Beautiful. Okay, king a4.
And now white plays knight d7
Attacking the rook.
and threatening knight b6 and knight c5 mate.
And the rook has to now protect itself and also stop this.
But the rook cannot do anything
Yes.
to stop those two mates. But black plays bishop e2.
Wow.
He sacrifices
This is the thing which you are talking about, the fight.
the mutual fight.
Yes.
Yes.
Bishop e2 is key.
Bishop e2 playing for stalemate. So bishop takes e2, and now rook b8 check.
If you take, then rook b8 check. Yes.
No, you take.
You have to. Okay.
You have to take. Because if you play bishop g2, with the idea to mate with the bishop d7, c6,
Yeah.
bishop b5, and knight mates on b6, and also you are threatening the rook. If you play that, then black wins by rook f2, because if you check on c6, he checks on
back. Wow.
because he creates a
Yes.
battery on f2.
Nice.
So very subtle things, and now after rook b8 check comes the highlight that made so many chess players. Thanks to this move, I got to know people like Lothier, like Shirov. When they met me, they were mentioning always this move, bishop b5. Like I remember.
So like Roy Lopez is known for bishop b5, you are also known for it.
Kind of, yes. But, you mean the Spanish?
The priest who kind of
Ruy Lopez, yes. It's called also Ruy Lopez.
Yes,
Spanish,
exactly.
yes. So bishop b5, 2 exclamation mark. After bishop b8, bishop b5 check. He has to take,
Yes.
because otherwise
With
I
the
take
rook. Yes.
He has to take with the rook.
And a check.
Yes. And now you play king a2. And black is in. This is a reciprocal Zugzwang, the position.
It's unbelievable that the rook has no square on the board.
In such a natural position. He has no. He is forked wherever he goes. So and it's also reciprocal Zugzwang, mutual Zugzwang.
And also the economy of the position. Every piece is very critical to the trapping of the rook. Not the mate, but here the rook trap.
Yes, yes. So after king a2, reciprocal Zugzwang, white wins because it's black to play, so white wins.
What a beautiful one.
Only 6 moves, the whole thing, but full of fire and explosive.
Were you have met Mikhail Tal, Vasily Smyslov in your life?
I not only met them, I played against
You played them.
both of them. I can tell you if you want.
Yeah.
I knew several world champions because Kasparov was my boss in Kasparov Chess Academy in Tel Aviv, and he liked very much endgame studies. Especially, he liked to cook them.
What does cook them mean? Like to find errors in them?
Defects, yes, but no. Otherwise, a great chess artist, of course, and I'm very fortunate to have attended in front of me my favorite chess game ever.
Oh yes, let me guess. Kasparov versus Topalov 1999.
In Vaikense, because
And you were watching it.
I was there. Yeah.
You must have been amazed, yeah, with all these moves that were happening.
No, that was fantastic.
I can only imagine what a joy it would be.
No, it's not a one move; it's the whole thing there, you know. But it's also Kasparov's favorite game himself.
Yes.
Now, I played Mikhail Tal when, at the last year of his life, he came to Israel because the son of Mikhail Tal lives in Beersheba and he's a dentist.
Yes.
But he has some contacts with in the medicine world, and they try to find a remedy for his terrible sickness. Yeah, it didn't help. But because Tal is Tal, in Israel, a great, he has so many enthusiast supporters. They organized like 6 tournaments for him.
Wow.
6
At this age?
No, he was not so old. He
No,
was,
but his health was not good. Yes.
very bad. But in his last year, he beat Kasparov in Blitz.
Oh, this World Blitz, right? 1982, if I'm not wrong, no? Or which year was it?
No, I think he also played 88 in St. John in Canada, but I don't know where he. I don't remember
Maybe I'm wrong.
where
Yeah,
he beat Kasparov. But even Kasparov tells it because of appreciation to Mikhail Tal.
Right.
Yeah, because he doesn't like to talk about his losses, but about this, big respect. And I played against Tal in the Blitz tournament.
Wow.
I at some moment I was winning. I won something, but I was so excited. I didn't believe that I can have this position against Tal. You know, he's so admired that I dropped the queen or something, and I lost the game. And Smyslov, in his elder years, he was a kind of chess tourist, and he also played in Rishon LeZion in Israel in a close tournament. And I had a 20 moves draw with Smyslov.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but okay, maybe it was not serious from his side.
He was also known for his composing skills.
When he was, all his life he liked it, of course, but when he lost his sight, or he became very short-sighted, he started as a replacement. He had chess composition.
Wow.
He made a lot of studies, and in Moscow, in Pervyakov, made a book of the studies of Smyslov. He was a very, very decent composer.
No, I liked one of this Novotny theme of E5 move somewhere,
Possible.
It was very nice.
Yes,
he has
possible.
done. Yes.
And so he might play the game, 20 moves, but it was a draw, it was fine. And but you mentioned those names, and I played them.
But did you ever give your studies or your compositions to some players like these, and they were able to solve them, or were they stuck?
I just told about Shirov and Lotier and many others. I made many grandmasters are kind of friends because of they like endgame studies. Of course, it's chess beauty, and they appreciate some of my works as well, especially this one, because I remember Lotier telling in a lecture, I was organizing tournaments, and he was, because his wife at the time, what's her name? Skripchenko. I think she was his wife at the time. She played in Israel in my tournament, and he came with her, and he was the guest. And he told that not long ago I showed him something that I just composed, and he showed this one, but he didn't realize that it was composed before he was born. But now he's in Moscow. He's like a businessman. Yes, and many others, of course, composers. Gelfand also, but Gelfand is a countryman. Was a countryman.
Can you tell us a bit about your relation with Boris Gelfand?
I actually, since I've been living in the Netherlands, I met Boris only in Prague. Because he played a couple of times in Prague, and we had nice talks. And also, I'm friends with his wife, who is kind of spokeswoman for him, and she does it very well on Facebook and other places. She's a journalist, a writer. And she even once wrote a book how to feed a chess champion.
Yes, yes, I know. When I interviewed Boris, I put one of her recipes. It was very nice.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. But she did many even more serious jobs in literature, and so I know him, of course, well. And by the way, he once composed a study together with, I think, Tkachenko, the Ukrainian composer, and even Emil Sutovsky composed a study, yes, but they have no time for these things. Both they are big fans of endgame studies.
Who do you think currently is like one of the most talented? Like we know in the chess world, there are all these young talents coming up. In the world of composing, is there anyone you think is very good, not just talent, but that you like following their work?
Yeah, but no, I mean they are not that young like in chess, because you have to be kind of a mature player, and to decide over the years that you are dedicating yourself to composing. And these days there are not many young composers. There are not many composers in total in all genres of chess composition. It's becoming older and older, and not so many new stars. But what I especially, I don't want to say whom I like to, because I'm a chess judge, and
Yes.
I don't want to make opinion that is not
I can
fair
understand.
for the composers. But my criterion is not the composer. My criterion is what he made. So it can be different. I can give 10 names of people whom I like their work, and I appreciate, of course, the works of those two that I have already mentioned, Minsky and
Stefan Nilsson.
With Minsky, we collaborated several times. We have joint studies, co-productions we have. Stefan tries to do compositions which resemble the middle game. It's also a kind of composition, but it's not end game, but he takes, maybe to compensate for his lost playing career. I don't know. Yes, and I also like there is in Israel an unprecedented, you say?
Precedented.
Precedented phenomenon. Somebody who started to compose. He was nearly 60. He's international master in chess, and he's now one of the leading composers in the world. His name is Mikhail Passman.
Wow.
Mikhail Passman has become a very strong composer, and I'm glad to say that I could help him a little bit to get into it. And I myself, I publish. I have a column, a chess column, in the leading composition magazine, periodical in England, The Problemist. I do the study column. John Nunn does the selected studies, but the originals I publish, and I'm in contact with all these composers.
Wow.
So I don't want to say whom I like more. I
Sure.
want that they will send me all good studies. And I also, last year I got in Israel, that is kind of pension for me, because chess players don't have a decent pension, you know. I am doing the chess column, the weekly chess column, in the biggest Israeli daily newspaper.
Wow.
The biggest one, the most popular, distributed. Yeah. And I like it very much. I also did recently tournament reports of Vaikenze for the English magazine Chess. I've been doing it for about 25 years. Every year, the report of Vaikenze.
Wow.
And this also I do for Chess, Prague, and for the Informant also.
Wow.
Chess.
So you're so active, even at this age.
I'm very glad that I can still keep active, but I am more or less retired trainer. I did a lot of personal training in the Netherlands. I was also playing 20 years with Jan Tiemann in the same team. Maybe I said it already, but
Yes.
I repeat myself like old people sometimes, but I stopped this year because of some health issues. But he is still there. First board, Jan Tiemann. I replaced Jan Tiemann with Hans Rey in my current team, which is close to my home in Amsterdam. Caïssa, the biggest Dutch chess club. And Hans Rey is in my team.
Wonderful. And you also did this book, Practical Chess Beauty, which actually has been liked by a lot of players across the world.
I heard that it has become popular in India. I was glad to hear that. And but what I'm also glad that it was translated to Russian and published by the Russian Chess Federation about 2 years ago.
That's amazing.
In 2 volumes, even they gave it. I have other translated books like Extreme Chess Tactics, was published to 6 languages. The last one Turkish. Yeah, in Turkish I know one word, Shatranj, which means chess in Turkish, and Arabic, I think. And I also have, I did 6 books with Hans Behm about the pieces, 6 pieces, 6 books, selected positions from famous games and from endgame studies.
Wow.
Yes.
So these books have done excellently. You showed me one of your studies. If you had to show me one more of yours, which is your favorite, because the one which you showed was actually the crowd favorite, you can say, like the other people really loved your work.
Yes.
This one. So can we look at one more?
Yes, I can tell you. I sent you these 3.
Yes.
So this is the one from 1975. That long ago.
Oh, it's close to what now?
No, the other one was 72.
Yes.
Which was 50 years 2 years ago, and this one will be 50 years next year.
Nice. And this one is
first prize.
Almost 7 pieces. It has 8, but
what?
The one which
it's 8. It is
yes.
Almost a miniature.
Almost, yes.
But sometimes it doesn't matter if the content justifies it. It's good to make more to put more pieces.
So here, White is trying to sort of queen his pawn.
It's White to play and win.
Yes.
So it makes the key quite easy. Because
yes.
You cannot try to win if you don't play b7, of course.
True. So we push the pawn.
And now all starts. This, by the way, this study, I remember it, that the idea came to me while I was watching a game in Netanya Festival, where I played in the same year, 1975. By the way, Netanya 68 is the only time in my life that I saw Bobby Fischer.
Oh, you saw him?
In 1968, Netanya, he won the tournament. And I remember taking a taxi, especially from Tel Aviv to Netanya, to see Bobby Fischer.
You didn't play there?
I didn't play. I played later in 71, 73. 1968, I was 16 only. But only time I saw Bobby Fischer. I spent many times in Budapest when he was there, but I never saw him. He was just hiding. And so we are back to this.
So b7, and now in order to stop the pawn from queening, we need to do something, yes?
Something really imaginative.
Yeah.
By the way, you can try to play, for example, rook e6. After queening, rook e8. But knight c7 wins.
You mean before queening? Rook
yes,
e6, knight c7.
Knight c7. You attack e8, e6, and a6 that he cannot check on a6.
Nice, beautiful.
And that is winning. That is a short line. There is another short line. When you play rook c6 with the same idea, then only b8 knight is winning, because you win the whole rook.
Yes, and 2 knights bishop against bishop is winning.
two knights alone cannot win, but
Yes.
if there is more material, then it's a big force.
Sure.
Yeah. It's also logical that you can mate simply. And but the tactical counterplay of black is to play bishop c5.
Very nice. Yes.
Yes, because if you queen now, then rook
a6.
a6 wins the queen.
Right.
So you have to take the bishop.
Yeah.
But when you take the bishop, you you make the
Check.
the
Rook h8 check.
you make the square h8 available for the rook,
Okay.
and then you rook give check on h8.
Now you can't queen because take and king c6 and both knights are both pieces are attacked.
Like
Bishop
fork.
and knight. It's a fork.
Yes. Royal fork.
Yeah.
So after rook h8, white plays king a7.
But now there is no threat, right? Or is there a threat at this point?
To go away and queen, and then I am with
Yes. Bishop and knight you will mate.
I will
Got
win.
it.
Yes.
Got it.
So it's a big threat. So only move for black is king c6.
Makes sense to attack both the pieces.
Yes.
So bishop d4 attacking
D4,
the rook.
Attacking the rook. So it's a kind of blow and counter
Yes.
blow.
Yes.
He attacks the rook. Not knight d6. King takes c5, knight c8 because of rook h7.
Ooh, nice.
Pinning
Nice.
and winning the pawn, yes. So king a7, king c6, bishop d4, rook h7.
Okay.
Only move. And now come the point that I saw when I looked at the game in Netanya. I saw if it was here and there, now comes the move. The always.
I'm thinking because imagine you're losing the b7 pawn. You don't have a check. If you put knight c7, he just takes rook c7. So there's nothing.
So how come that there is something?
Yeah. I mean, is some move like bishop g7?
Bishop g7.
Wow. Again, this reminds me a little bit of bishop b5 move, yes?
Yes,
It just
yes.
goes in between.
Yes, that's just composition. Yeah, the punchline, the bishops. Suddenly, bishop g7. People are getting.
And if rook takes g7, knight d4 check.
And then either after king d6, knight f5.
Yes.
It's a fork, or king c5, knight e6.
Yes.
And takes the rook.
King c7 also knight e6.
Yes, and wins.
Wow. You like this theme of the knight dominating the rook, yes?
I like knights.
Yes.
With knights I made, but I also like rooks. I have many rook ending tactical. It's difficult to imagine because rooks have the rook ending have a bad reputation of boring and technical. Yeah.
Yes.
But I made many. I didn't choose one, but I made many miniatures, rook miniatures with tactical punchlines.
Beautiful. In order to get acquainted with your work, would you recommend like the book Practical Chess Beauty, or is there some other like this one?
Practical Chess Beauty is not I say. Everybody says it's a.
But your work, we can get more information
Yes.
about it from it.
A lot and stories, and also my games there.
Got
I
it.
have also some nice games which we are not discussing here.
I know bishop a5, your classy move.
Yes,
Beautiful. I looked at it. Wonderful.
with G6 after.
Yes.
Yes, this is with Arthur Kogan.
Beautiful game.
But I have also with Liberzone. I have it's in the book. But also here there are only my miniatures, about 90 of them, on 7 pieces, and so this is kind of still in the market. It's the
Yes, this is the anthology of miniature.
miniature endgame studies. Yeah,
Yochanan, would you be okay to go over one more of your, because I am enjoying so much you have selected, if we can go over.
I have 300, so just, do you want something short with a punchline? I show you something, something aristocrat.
Okay.
You know what is aristocrat study?
No.
It's not my pretension to be aristocrat or something. Aristocrat study is study without poems.
Oh.
only.
Okay, that's now I understand. Got it.
So this is a study that you can show.
It's not in the database you selected, or I mean, you sent me the games, right? So it's not one of that.
I can show one of those if you want.
No, but this is nice. If you can tell me the position, I can arrange it.
Yes, no problem.
Yes.
There are, okay. Maybe I show two.
Okay.
You will do what you like.
Sure.
So this was published in Hungary in '97. You know who was the judge?
Paul Benko?
Yes. I met him several times. Paul Benko, a great guy and a great composer also. Yeah. So you have the position?
No, you have to tell me.
King f3, white
Yes.
king f3.
Yes.
Rook h7.
Yes.
Bishop c8.
Yes.
Knight a1.
Okay.
Black king d3. Rook c4.
Okay.
Rook b3.
Okay.
It's white to play and win.
You know, without pawns, sometimes for a practical player, it gets
strange.
very tough to think, because, you know, pawns give you kind of the direction.
Pawn is the soul of chess.
Yes.
Who say that?
Philidor.
Yes.
So here, isn't the knight taking the rook, knight b3? Then you lose the bishop. Okay.
I just take the bishop.
Yeah.
Yes. And
So maybe we first start with a check.
check on f5.
Yeah. King c3 is forced, right? Or
No,
not?
No. If he
No,
plays
it's-
king b3, I take on b3.
Yeah.
And bishop e6 is winning the rook.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, that's simple.
Yes. So bishop f5 check,
King d4.
king d4.
So that if you take, then there is knight, rook c3 and you will take the knight.
It continues like this. Yes.
Oh.
Knight takes b3 check.
Okay.
King e5 only move.
But why not rook c3? Check.
No, because what do you mean? I give you check. The king is on d4 and the knight on b3 is checking the king.
Oh, sorry.
No, never mind.
I thought.
We are all getting older. I do it quicker.
So king e5, the bishop is hanging and rook c3 is threatened.
Yes. Only move is to play bishop d3.
Okay.
So it's not check on c3. Only move for black is rook c3.
Makes sense. Yes.
Yes. And it's a fork.
Yes.
And
Now it's like, how do you save? Because this is the key moment of the entire study.
That's true.
And you have your rook, which is on h7. You can give checks, but then it doesn't solve a purpose as such.
Yeah.
Oh no, you can actually. You can put knight c5, rook c5, rook h5, but then he comes and defends with his king d6, king d4 somehow.
Yes.
But can I start with a check? Rook h5.
You want to give check on...
But then you go back king d6. Maybe it doesn't help.
you cannot play knight c5.
Yes.
Because I will take
Yes.
the knight.
Yes. So I need something here.
More imaginative.
More imaginative, yeah.
You have to see the future.
And I need to make use of my king also somehow.
Everything. Whatever you can use, that's the secret of the endgame study, that all pieces are used.
Okay. I think this is the moment where viewers also should pause and think, because this is a key moment.
It's not so difficult, but
Yeah, it should be possible to solve, but
it is possible. Of course.
rook e7 check also doesn't serve anything. Oh, yes, maybe check on e7, king moves away, and then rook e3, but then rook takes b3. So the king goes to a dark square, black king, and there's no discovered check. No, help me.
The key move of the whole study is actually first check on h5.
Rook h5, king d6.
Only move.
Yes.
And now knight d4, 2 exclamation marks.
Oh, this is so tough. Knight d4, so that if rook takes
Rook takes
d3.
d3 check, king e4.
Okay.
you can only go to D1 because the whole row you will.
Oh my God!
There are forks. Yes.
I should have known that this is going to come. Yes. And if Rook D1,
then
Rook D5,
check, and next you.
Wherever you go, knight discovers checks and
Discovers check,
my
yeah.
God! Wow.
And then it's winning. Yes.
When you compose something like this, do you feel happy?
When it's finished, I feel relief.
Relief, not like wow.
This is kind of happiness. Relief is also kind of happiness, because I got it off my chest. You know, I made it real and it works, because there are many disappointments. There are many ideas in chess which you cannot make a decent study out of them.
Have there been times where you are pursuing an idea for days and then you had to give it up for months?
Yes, for months. And sometimes I bear it in my mind because I don't have inspiration. And when inspiration comes, not so often in my age, but it comes.
But inspiration can come from anywhere, right? Like you can be walking on the street and inspiration can come, or?
That if I go in the street and get inspiration, I will fall because I have some problems with
So maybe in a chess event you get inspired when you see some games.
In some also some routine days, it just comes, or something reminds me, or whatever. Just it's not like the old prophets that they had. How do you call it? I don't know even. When they can see something, you know. What is it in English? I forgot.
I mean, they see. Okay. Like Nostradamus could see the future.
Like this.
Yeah.
But I don't know the English.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
We have to do one more, as you said. You would show two.
Yes,
so which one is the next?
The next one I show because. Where is it? It's among the ones I sent you.
Yes. Is it 2000 or?
Yes, this one.
2000.
Yes, but I want to find it also because it will be easier for me to explain. Selection, this is here. Yes, so this is also a miniature. Is it King A8?
Yes, King A8, Bishop C8.
Yes, okay. So this is one of the two studies of mine that won the title, the Study of the Year.
Who gives this title?
It doesn't exist anymore, but up to a certain moment it was given every year by the Study Commission of the World Position Committee, yes.
So here...
I will mention just that every year there is a Congress of Chess Composition somewhere in the world. I'm still the Israeli representative after 25 years in the Netherlands. And, this is by the, how do you call it? FIDE gives his what is it called?
WFCC or World Federation of Chess Composition? Or?
Yes. But that is also my title, or titles. We have a diploma from FIDE also. FIDE is...
FIDE sort of ratifies it, or just...
Gives some... I don't know in English. FIDE recognizes it.
Okay.
Yes. And last year it was in Batumi, in Georgia.
Okay.
And this year it will be in Yurmala, not far away of the statue of Mikhail Tal Riga that we mentioned. Okay, so we go to this. This study was in 2000. It won first, second prize in Kralin 55. Kralin is a Russian grandmaster, so he organized a tournament for his jubilee, and it's a miniature.
So you first push the pawn because that's the most logical. You save the bishop. And
we
you
want to win. So
you threaten the queen.
So it's the second study we push pawn to b7
Yes.
today.
Yes.
b7, and the only defense for black is queen c6 to pin.
Right. That seems
Yes.
like the only logical move.
And the only logical move for white after that is bishop d7, which you pin the queen and you force take.
Is this the only move, or like you can do some, like you can play your rook somewhere, but it doesn't help in any way? Because then there's check, like queen a6, queen d6 check, and it's a draw.
Threat. It's the perpetual check is an immediate threat.
So bishop d7.
Bishop d7, he has to take the bishop.
Uh-huh.
And now starts the idea.
Because if you make a queen now,
Yes, so this is the idea, the original idea. Very lucky to have it original. If he queens now, then queen d5 check, queen b7, queen d8 check, king a7, queen d4 check, queen b6, yeah? And then you play...
queen d7 check, king a6.
Yes, then
Queen
b7 check.
b7, wow.
And stalemate.
Whatever you take with.
Whatever you take.
Nice.
So after queen takes d7, the next move of white is rook takes e4 check.
Okay, makes sense.
Yes.
King a5.
King a5. If he plays king a3, then b8 queen, queen d5, queen b7, queen d8, king a7, queen a5, queen a6.
Yes.
It's a winning because it's check on a6. Yeah?
Right.
Yes. So king a5. Why he cannot queen now?
Yeah, that's also interesting because now
Now, if he queens, then queen d5 check,
yeah,
queen b7, queen d8 check, king a7, queen b8.
same
check.
theme, yes,
What
but
happened is-
one rank below.
Yes, this is called this theme. It's not the last one. It's the second one. It's called. How do you call this?
Staircase.
No, it's staircase, but it is also. How do you call this animal that changes its color?
Aha, chameleon.
Yes, it's echo chameleon. Echo chameleon. Yeah. So all pieces go one rank up
Okay,
and change color,
nice.
but it's not the last color
Uh-huh.
because now white gives rook e5 check,
Right.
which resembles the rook e4 before. Yes, rook e5 check
And now not king a6 because knight
Because
and
knight
you lose the queen.
is a fork.
So king b6.
I like under promotion, so they are in many of my studies.
Right.
So
And if king b4 back, then it doesn't help because you queen and give a check.
Yes,
So that's why you have to go to king
Yeah.
b6.
yes, king b6
Now you queen with a check.
with a check, and now comes king a6. If and he wants to after king a6. If now white plays rook c5, then comes queen d5 check, and rook takes d5 is stalemate. One more.
So here we have a position now where we need to sort of find a way for white
Break this magic circle.
yes, with white because there doesn't seem a check available.
Imagine incredible position because there are
Yes.
no pawns, so
Yes.
everything is open with the
Yes,
heavy.
it's like the queen on d7 dominates everything.
It's heavy artillery.
Yes.
There is only one move to win, and the original one. Lucky me.
What is it?
Rook b5.
Whoa! It's like the same bishop b5. Yeah, b5 is your favorite square.
Maybe, but I never play in Spanish. I don't play Spanish. Rook, so I compensate myself by
Yes.
Rook b5.
So if queen b5, queen a7 mate.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is a self-block.
Yes.
And that's how it's finished, actually. Rook b5, queen
Yeah.
takes b5, queen a7 mate.
Wow. No, rook b5 is just insanely difficult, right, to think.
No, yeah, but it's very logical because you want to answer on queen c6 check,
Rook
with
b7.
check, or queen b7
Yes.
check and takes with the rook.
I mean, you could then think of rook e7, but rook e7 doesn't self-block. But rook b5 blocks the
Yes,
path out.
Yes.
Wow. What an amazing thing.
With 7 pieces, you've
You
got
created
a
magic.
variety of ideas. Yeah.
But Yochanan, the last 80 minutes right now we've spoken, and it's been such a joy sort of understanding you, your art, your world. What is it about chess that keeps you going for so long? Like, I see you now, you were doing this contest here in Prague Chess Festival. You were one day before worried that, is everything okay? You wanted to. What gives you this energy?
It's less and less energy because now I'm 72 in April, so it's not that easy anymore. But I don't play chess, no tournaments anymore. And I had an idea to play the Rapid because last year I played the Rapid. And my best decision today is not to play the Rapid because I wanted to take your activity seriously.
Wow.
Because
That's so kind of you. Thank you.
no, it's not a sacrifice because it's not for me anymore. I would have suffered there. Last year I was still okay there, but I would have suffered. And what keeps me? I mean, I'm glad. I don't know what keeps me, but I love chess. I like the company of chess players, and I played incredible number of tournaments in my life, especially because I like to be in the atmosphere of the tournament. Not for achieving the world. I achieved in chess composition, but I just like to be there, and I could give a good fight to almost anybody sometimes, and I just enjoyed it. I don't know. It's it's also a big sacrifice. You dedicate your life to chess, so you sacrifice something.
True.
No family, the chess community is my family, this kind. So
Did you ever feel like that family is something that you missed, or chess brought everything to you that you have?
Okay, I love the queen in chess, but instead, no. I mean, I know that it is important, but personally, I don't feel that I am kind of kind of losing so much for not having a family. More than a family, love is important. So I gave my love to chess.
Wow, it's beautiful. And if you had to sort of think that what is the legacy that you want to leave behind, what would it be?
Actually, I don't think in such terms. I would be happy if people would still appreciate chess and chess composition for many years to come, because you don't know where the world is going to, and it's a big miracle to have chess still the king of games. And for that, I bless the Indian nation, because they make the difference.
Why would you say that?
Because without all these incredible youngsters, Indian youngsters, chess would be a kind of, Ivanchuk will be the last one of those who make chess so attractive. And what is after? Chess theory will remain, yes? So, because I don't see the great youngsters out of India and China, and that makes chess so exciting, and people are so enthusiastic about.
Well, now it's like Nadirbek from Uzbekistan,
Yes,
and Keimer
yes.
from Germany. So there is like
But the whole nation is India.
Yes, lot of
One here, one there. There is also in Israel some talents, but if you take a nation, a whole culture is now. It is not because I'm interviewed in chess. It's the fact that you have such a website shows that the chess culture is just gaining popularity and inspire the whole world. And people in India, I was even here amazed to hear they like so much endgame studies there.
Like the boy who won this contest that
Yes, the
Ilam
Soviet.
Parthi, I think he is amazing solver.
And to make selfie with a chess composer, something that you can only see, I think, only in India.
But I think more and more people are going to take selfies with you. Your contribution to chess has been immense. I am very grateful that you gave us this time and did this interview, and it was an absolute pleasure.
It was my pleasure, of course, and you were leading it skillfully, of course, and I hope other people will fall in love with this art, the art of chess composition, and really, personally, hope to meet the creation of new Indian composers in my column, in other publications, to make it, because what I miss are Indian composers.
What we will do is we'll put an email address that you will give us in the description. So if anyone wants to reach out and give their compositions, they can do so there.
I will do it with pleasure. I can also recommend a website that gives a lot of inspiration and a lot of material. It's called Arves.
Yes, arves.org. No?
Arves is a kind of abbreviations of the word.
I know this website, yes, Arves.
Arves, but for chess, because it's also abbreviation of something else. Chess, to look in Google for Arves.
Okay.
There are thousands of studies there, information about composers, information about magazines, awards of tournaments all the time. You have that, and you can be, if you are interested in endgame studies, this is a great source of inspiration.
For sure. Thank you, Yochanan.
Thank you very much.